of sweat on the track, cold-blooded eyes staring back, metals clashing, heartbeat race, speed and scales in the same space, stories of speed spinning wild.
Welcome, everybody. We have a new show tonight. Chris, how you doing, sir?
Good, Jeff. Thanks, guys, for having me bringing my own show to the podcast and stuff with you guys.
Hell yeah. So before we get started, real quick, I'm going to do a little, oh my gosh, my mouth sucks. As you see at the bottom of your screen, bio.link/nonsensical network. You can find everything we do, including our merch, nonsensical_nonsense at myspreadshop.com, and you can spread us on you. So Chris, kind of give me a download real quick of what you're going to be doing on your show here.
Well, on this show, we're going to talk a little bit about motorsports, drag racing, dirt track racing, basically anything with horsepower and wheels. And of course, got to have the other expensive hobby most people get. I have reptiles and stuff, talk about snakes, bearded dragons, all different types of animals that's in the reptile community that's cold-blooded. So give everybody a little bit of variety.
I got to admit, I'm not the reptile guy, but I am so down for the horsepower.
Oh, yeah.
Out of all the motorsports racing, what's your favorite?
Truck and tractor pulling and drag racing, man. Those are my two. I grew up nothing but all around those two sports, so it's in my blood.
The best tractor pulling on the planet, I gotta say, and I hate to say it, happens out of Germany. Those guys are fucking nuts.
Oh, I've been following a page on Facebook. It's called Norwegian Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. Man, those modified tractors with those giant turbines, they look like overgrown fans. I mean, it is insane the horsepower they're putting out compared to here in the States.
Yeah, you're talking like, I saw a guy the other day. He's got 4 Bell helicopter jet motors.
Yeah,
on a tractor, and the wheels are like 4 inches.
Yeah, it's crazy the way. I mean, in truck and tractor pulling, with especially that modified class here, like here in the States, you wouldn't think with 4 or 5 engines sitting on basically what I call go-kart wheels can withstand all that weight on them, but they do. I mean, because it's distributed out.
For axles. I don't know what they're using for axles, but Jesus.
They're spindles. That's all they are.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the first time I saw it, I was like, there's no way this is a real deal.
Yep.
But it's insane. So as Christian said, we're going to be talking here on here. I'm going to come up every once in a while. Unfortunately, Mondays are my busy day. But we're going to have Glick up here with Chris. So it's going to be the two Chris's talking motorsports. I'm going to try every once in a while, and it's a hard sell because of the time,
right?
And the Monday, but our buddy Benji, huge Formula One guy. He was on Jeff's Garage. He was on Jeff's Garage for a while, and then Formula One season started, and he's like, "Dude, I'm gonna be few and far between." I was like, "I got it, I get it." I don't watch. I do like NASCAR Truck Series, but I can only watch like maybe 15, 20 minutes, and I'm like, okay, what else is on?
Well, the thing is, Jeff, with the Craftsman series, with like the truck series, it's like anything else. Like, just start out there like going to a baseball game. Watching it on TV and is exciting when you actually get to see it live, man. I mean, it's a night and day difference because you don't have to deal with the commercials. Because I got to go here up to Lexington. I got to see up at Mid-Ohio the Craftsman truck the second year that they came there. Man, that was like the greatest experience ever.
I used to date a girl that lived close to Mid-Ohio, and because they built the track after the house, her grandparents built the house, well before Mid-Ohio Raceway showed up. They have lifetime track passes.
That's freaking awesome.
I could take anything, and they're not car people. So when I was dating her, I took my YZF-R6 on the track. I took my S10 pickup truck I had a 327 Corvette motor in it. Took it on the track.
You had that at the Career Center, didn't you?
Yeah, I had that red
I
one.
remember that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think they had over 400 hours of track hours saved up that they just weren't using.
Wow.
And it was, and my girlfriend's like, we were talking about it. I was like, does it bother you guys living so close to the track? She's like, not really. We just ignore it. And then she brought up that she had track passes. And I was like, what are track passes? I know what we're doing this weekend.
Oh, yeah. That's like game on.
She's like, really? I said, oh, really?
Well, see, that's the thing we're dealing with here. Well, you remember pacemakers. People are still bitching and complaining about that drag strip, even though that track was there before all that stuff. We're still having ongoing battles with that bullshit. So
I've been towed. I was towed away from that track.
I have too.
right after high school, I built. Well, right before high school, when I was 14, I bought a '69 Chevelle.
Nice.
Had no motor, no transmission, only one door opened. And by the time I was 18, I had it on the road with a little over 850 horse. And I took it on that track. And I did roughly about 8 passes. And on the 9th pass, I rolled it.
Oh, damn.
I rolled it so well. And the car was set up perfect. A guy came out of the crowd and he said, I'll give you 30 grand for the car right now. I said, dude, it's fucking sold, dude. It's trashed. He's like, I want the motor. And I called a buddy of mine. I called my cousin and I said, dude, come get me. He's like, what happened to your fucking car? I said, oh, it's sold and trashed. And Dom.
Yep.
Dom Hicks came and picked me up. And he's like, where's your car? I said, there it goes on that flatbed. I'm going to go. And I went and picked up I picked up an 86 Silverado dually and drove it for about 8 months. And then I sold it.
Yeah.
Before I left for the Navy.
I'm getting ready this winter. Me and the boy and my cousin, I got a 97 Mustang. I'm joining the LS world. We're going to LS swap it.
Oh, God bless you. Now, I will be disappointed if you don't put on the back window built Ford Tough with Chevy stuff.
We're already getting it made.
I love it. God bless it.
With these builds and stuff, I mean, that's another thing I'll talk about on this channel too. Is, I mean, you break down a budget when you're a budget building. GM is honestly, I'm a diehard Ford man, but GM is the way to go for performance and everything out there. It's honestly is bang for the buck.
Bang for your buck, not to mention reliability. The reliability of the LS. The problem with the Coyote motors comes down to one simple thing.
Money.
If you look at it wrong, it won't run.
Well, big thing of it is, it's going to cost 10 grand to Coyote swap this thing, and I can have 2 grand and LS swap it and be right back on the road when it's all done.
Now, are you going to put it up on YouTube of the build?
It'll be on my YouTube channel. So,
nice. Real quick, do me a favor. Well, you're on the phone right now.
I'll send you the link. I'll send you a link for it.
And we'll add it here to our brand. We can drop stuff out, like that, and people can actually watch. Back to what we're doing here, what you're going to be doing here on the show. You can do full breakdowns, or are you going to do just kind of updates? Because I know one of the updates I saw, and I have to check on it, but from my understanding, Frankie Muniz is now part of NASCAR Truck Series.
Yes, it's the truth.
I saw that.
He got a full ride. He's going to be racing the Truck Series next year.
I'm fucking in.
I mean, that's amazing. I just hope he has success at it, because, I mean, a lot of these stars that try to go into the racing community, I mean, they're just doing it for clout. There's been but I think he's a couple. There's a few that's made it, yes, but I mean, like some
Paul
of them.
Newman did it.
Oh,
he's Keanu Reeves. Isn't Keanu Reeves on a team now?
He did. He actually was part of an indie team for a while.
Oh, really?
Back in the early '90s, late 2000s, or early 2000s. He was actually, I think it was part of Al Unser Jr.'s team back in the '90s.
he's got a documentary on, I
Yeah.
believe it's Netflix, about I think it was Honda. I can't remember the team, but he was talking about the team with the owners. They got it for a song and dance. I can't remember what it's called. It's an interesting documentary. As much as like for non-motorsports people or non-car people, it's kind of it's a lot over people's heads.
Right.
But Keanu makes it interesting. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, he makes stuff interesting. Period. I mean, just him in general, the way he is. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors. I mean, and person, down to earth. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better person when it comes to stuff. So, but yeah, when I did on the show, I'm gonna have some guests. I've already got like 7 or 8 people already since I did a Facebook post about this that are willing to come on the show and stuff. So
yeah, Mondays. I got our show schedule. I added you to the schedule. Mondays, Speedway stories and cold-blooded conversations, and Men Caring for Men, one right after the other. Tuesdays, we got Glick's House of Music, where he's actually interviewing. He's doing really well with it, interviewing musicians. Wednesdays, we do What the Fuck News. Every other Thursday, Cash's Corner. Fridays, we do Nonsense and Chill, our movie show. Saturdays, Nonsensical Nonsense, our open door challenge. And Sundays, Unnecessary Roughness, and occasionally Jeff's Garage. As unfortunately, I'm so busy right now. Sundays, I just want to fucking pass out.
hey, worst case scenario, if you need me to, man, I'll jump in for you on Sundays before I go to work. So
it's one of those things. I try to go. I don't want to go live too early, but I don't want to go live too late.
Well, as long as it's before I leave at 10 o'clock at night, it's all good.
Oh yeah, we'll be done way before then.
Yeah.
Other 10 o'clock is past my bedtime. Saturdays, the problem I have with our Saturday show, it is 6 hours, almost nonstop. It's hilarious, but it's like, oh my God, I want to go to bed.
Oh yeah, especially after you got a busy day and all you guys, jump on and everything else. You already had a long day, but I mean, still, it's a good time. I as you've seen, I jump in the chat most of the time. So
yeah, well, and like we had a bit of an issue today where we got it fixed already, but Blaze and I's show, Nonsense Chill, got blocked because of one of the ads we played.
Really?
But we got the ad off of Creative Commons off of YouTube, which is kind of weird. We've already got it fixed. It should be fixed by tomorrow. But like I said, I'm really curious on how when you do this show, you're going to bring in the two subjects together. Because let's be honest, they're not two subjects that necessarily go together unless you put snakeskin's, steering wheel on cover, but
yeah,
or snakeskin seats. But it's going to be interesting, and the one thing I love about all of us doing the shows, it is one of the greatest outlets for us all. And we have all the shows every day of the week, and obviously we're constantly adding more. I'm really curious on how you're gonna put your spin on it. The beauty of it is once you're up and running, where you can actually use the StreamYard properly and all that stuff and set up your own studio, it's so easy once we get rocking and rolling. And of course, the more eyes and ears we have on it, God willing, the creek don't rise, everything's going to be great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my next thing is getting a laptop to make things a little easier instead of using the phone.
Yeah, the problem with using the phone is really hard to set up the studio. We were talking about that today. Setting up the studio on the phone, it can be done, but oh my God, it's such a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, I was looking through earlier today about everything when Glick messaged me, and I'm like, yeah, I got to get a laptop. This is insane what all you got to go through just using a mobile device. It's like, nah.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is when Glick and I started the show, this is 4 years ago. Good Lord. 4 years ago when we started on an app called Haps, and Glick went out and bought a laptop. I had very little money at the time, and I was using my phone, but I couldn't see Glick because the front-facing camera on the phone that I was using did not work.
Oh, geez.
So, and like I would stare at the back of my phone and hope I was in frame. And obviously now I went out, I've bought in 3 different laptops since then. But the beauty of doing the shows, especially on a laptop, is we constantly Saturday nights are hilarious because Blaze and I'll sit there and start playing with AIs and throwing up memes, making fun of each other. That's the beauty of the network.
You get the nice little mixture. Well, then you can do like some highlight reels or whatever, kind of throw in of things, or like you said with the memes and stuff. It kind of sweetens the pot a little bit when you got the little extra you can do on your show to kind of keep everybody's attention too. So
exactly,
it helps.
One of especially with a show like what you're doing, and what I do, to show the audience occasionally, especially here on YouTube and Rumble, to show them a video of what you're talking about. There is a difference, and a lot of people don't realize, between Formula One and Formula 3.
Yeah.
And it's not, believe it or not, it's not a huge difference. With the exception of, it's mainly down to horsepower, from my understanding.
It's basically with Formula One, Formula 3. Formula One's like put in past aspect of like drag racing. It's like taking a top fuel car and going with a top alcohol car. You got almost 2,000 horse difference between one runs on alcohol, the other's nitromethane that'll burn you from a mile away just smelling it when it's running. I mean, the cubic inch limits and stuff on them and everything. I mean, every class has got different stuff. So,
well, and as we all learned from Days of Thunder, when it comes to Formula One, the more money you got, the better you do.
Oh yeah, that's in any. Sad part is this day and time, the deeper your pockets is, the further you're actually going to go, and that's in anything though. And that's the sad part.
Formula 3 is a little bit less about the money,
right?
It's more about the racing. Which for me, if I had a choice, I wouldn't run Formula One because that scares the shit out of me. But if I had to choose between two, I would run Formula 3. Like if I had a team, because the deep pockets you need to run Formula One is just ridiculous. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Yep.
And you have to have either, own a brand like Ferrari or own a brand like,
Maserati. I mean, all that shit. BMW. I mean, that's the thing is, well, that's just like with NASCAR. I mean, people talking about it. Yeah. They're actually, those motors are all identical motors. It's just the skins of the chassis that makes the brand.
Yeah. And I think that's why I like NASCAR a little bit. I wanted to ask you your thoughts on last year's Le Mans, where they had that NASCAR car from Chevrolet, that Chevy NASCAR, that was stomping. I mean, it's a weird ranking system because they run like 6 classes at once on 24 hours Le Mans, but they had that NASCAR Cup car that they modified for that track that was beating the dog shit out of Ferrari, but it wasn't in the same class, so it didn't matter.
Right, but the thing is, actually that car in that class, I think, was like not even 3.5 seconds off actually the track record for Le Mans last year for what it was.
Blew my mind.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, it was cool to see something different other than your Ford GTs, everything else out there. And I mean,
a while back, I was contemplating with the concept of moving to France. And one of the first things I was going to do is go buy tickets to fucking Le Mans, because I'm like, if I could be at Le Mans for 24 hours, holy shit, that'd be amazing. Especially if they're going to bring the NASCAR Cup Series. But I was talking to a buddy of mine that went to that race.
Really?
That NASCAR car was so loud compared to all the other cars, he could not sleep.
Well, they were running open headers. Hey Jeff, how do I send somebody the link for the watch the podcast?
To watch the podcast, basically go onto YouTube and you can send it over where they can watch. What we usually do is I actually when we go live while the intro's playing, we share it on Facebook and whatnot. So it's on my Facebook page.
There, I was able to get it. Sorry, I had to cut the phone out. But yeah, it was a NASCAR motor with the Le Mans suspension setup underneath that NASCAR. And I mean,
Well,
the way
and
that thing moved.
yeah, it was insane. It like I don't watch a lot of motorsports, but that the fact that they had that NASCAR in there, I wanted to see how well it would do. And I ended up watching, they had the whole thing live on YouTube, and it was just beating the dog shit out of everything else on the track.
I love that I caught the highlight. One of the biggest highlight is when it put Porsche 2 laps down in their class. It actually put a Porsche.
Well, the only problem I had with it is, and I get it, it was kind of like a test thing. It was an exhibition class for that.
Right.
But now that they proved they can do it, God, I hope they do it next year or this year. Or
well, what it is they're trying to bring more people to relate more to that side, bring the NASCAR crowd in, because a lot of people are getting away from NASCAR because it ain't the same like it used to be. My personal opinion.
All sorts of new regulations on NASCAR.
Well, I'm sorry, a lot of people may disagree. When Dale died, NASCAR died. I mean, it in my eyes, it kind of went away from.
After.
Yeah, it wasn't too long after that. It was like a couple years. NASCAR got away from what it actually, the grassroots of what NASCAR was supposed to be.
Well, and the problem I have with NASCAR, as much as I loved NASCAR growing up, my brother-in-law, huge Jeff Gordon fan when Jeff Gordon was a rookie, and years after. As much as I like watching NASCAR, I'd rather be there because I can make 4 left turns. How hard can that be? Granted, I can't do it at 200 miles an hour, but
yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem in NASCAR. You put it on a road course, I'm fucking in.
I like what they've done. They've got 3 or 4. That's what I like about Watkins Glen and everything else, because they're using the road course. I mean, that kind of made everything open up to really test a true driver.
Yeah, because let's be honest, if you practice enough, you could easily do the whatever it is, 180, 200 miles an hour around 4 curves. It's more of a rhythm and endurance than it is a skill.
Yep.
I'm not saying there's no skill in it, and I agree, NASCAR is cool. No, the off-road truck racing on what is that called? Where they use the trophy trucks, and they use trophy trucks, but it's
actually a version of core racing, except they're doing the asphalt racing with them. Is what they're doing. It's the same thing.
So
it's neat, but yeah, that's my cousin that actually just commented that we just got done. We're in the process. He's got a Colorado for a rough truck that we put an LS in. So
nice.
Yeah, it runs good.
those LS motors, they're so available and so I'm not saying it's easy to swap, but it's not difficult. If you have at least a mild common knowledge of hooking up a motor, it's not that fucking hard.
No.
The hardest part is the ECU, but it is. It's one of those things. It's like racing in general. I think one of the things if I had a choice to do Stadium Truck Series, there it is. The Super Stadium Trucks.
Yeah. I knew it was one of the two.
Yeah. I'd like to do rally. I think that would be fun. Yeah, the ESU is a cakewalk. I mean, I would rather stand in line for a beating than do wiring, but
we found out that actually it's not really that bad. He figured out the wiring and everything else. We got originally a simplified wiring harness, and he ended up taking a factory wiring harness, got a diagram, put it down to where it needed to be. Thing runs great. I mean, it just needs a few things done to it, and that's it. So
and what, for like an extra couple grand, you could take a stock LS and put and like I said, for like less than $5,000, get it up to 900 horse without even trying.
Well, the thing of it is, like I said, you can on a budget build for about $3,000. This is even with a turbo kit or nitrous kit, everything else. You can easy get 1,000 horse out of a motor, and that's
yeah.
stock bottom end on those things. So
yeah, it's one of those crazy simple things that doesn't take long to do. You know, the beauty of anything automotive, if you have a mild knowledge of tools, oh, I think he dropped off. If you have a mild knowledge of tools, you can easily set it up to run anything just like the big boys, so to speak. As soon as he pops back up. Yeah, there he is.
dumb phone. I hit the wrong button.
That's all right. Happens all the time. Well, believe it or not, the more you're on and the more you start playing, especially when you get the laptop, it gets easier and easier.
Oh yeah.
But now, are you going to go to events and kind of do like the man on the street kind of thing at the events too on here?
Yeah, I'm going to try to bring some live footage when I go to the track or go to rough truck events and everything else. Kind of do some live stuff. Get some interviews with some of my buddies that are into racing, give you a walkthrough on their trucks, their drag cars, and everything else. There's one guy I'm trying to work on getting. I don't know how his schedule is because he signed a monster truck deal to run his rough truck for the Winter Series. So I'm going to try to get him on here a couple of times and talk about his racing career and stuff. It's a good friend of mine. So
Blaze just sent me a photo. He's watching.
awesome.
But yeah, it's one of those things. It's like the beauty of any automotive racing, or even if you go and if you're sitting there hanging out at a demolition derby, live is awesome.
Oh yeah.
On TV, not so much, but it's, you know, if it's on, yeah, might as well. One of my favorite things to watch on YouTube, and it's kind of dumb, and I think I only watch it because I can't do it here, is Mudfest.
Oh yeah.
You know, you get guys out there, they build ridiculous trucks, and then they try to beat it's like a tenth of a mile mud run through this pit that nobody can get through.
That and yeah, because the Rednecks with Paychecks does a big huge event all over. They've got that Bounty mud hole, and it's like the last one I seen on YouTube. Hell, they had a $10,000 bounty on this hole that hasn't been beat in 5 years, and a guy in a Samurai with a Cummins and custom built chassis, he beat the bounty hole with it. And I mean, he was going up against guys that had multiple tractor tires, everything else, and he actually made it through. This was a couple years ago. I seen that.
Well, what was it? I was watching it one night, and they had an episode. It was the truck that broke the internet. It beat that one of those bounty holes.
Yep.
Where it was, I can't remember the name of the truck, but it was fucking massive.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't know who said that, Connor. But yeah, like I said, so you're going to do Mondays starting around 6, correct?
Yep. We'll try to 6, latest 6:30. Mostly, I'd like to try to get a ground base. It'll probably be about 6:30 for the first few shows. You know, get it going and everything, and then we'll jump into the hour-long stuff. Probably go from 6 to 7 and everything, and get it started and give a variety of stuff about the motorsports world and reptiles and stuff. Like I said, I've been working on already, getting some guests lined up to bring on the show, talk about their side of this reptile community, their side of the motorsports community. I mean, just bring some people on, talk about their experiences and stuff. So,
well, you know, and the beauty of the motorsports thing, it's endless. It's one of those year-round things. Unlike somebody watching football, which is seasonal. But and the reptile thing, not my forte, not even remotely. I did date a girl that owned a boa constrictor, and I dated her for about a week until I found out she owned a boa constrictor. And I was like, I got to bounce.
You wouldn't want to come visit my house, Jeff. I got a mini zoo, so
you're like that dude from fucking Roadhouse. It's got the bus that's full of fucking snakes. Nope, not doing it. No, can't do snakes.
Yeah, kind of in a way.
But unfortunately, we're going to go because Connor's getting ready to come up. Men caring for men because it is Monday.
I'll swing.
So
I'll swing over on there with him. Jump in for a little bit too. So
yeah, we're going to jump up here. I'm actually going to jump out and jump right back in so Connor and I can start because Glick is unfortunately out of town and doing family stuff. So, you know, it is what it is. Life gets in the way. So next Monday, you're going to be up at 6:30, correct?
Yes, sir. It'll be at 6:30, and we're going to start off with the first official show, probably talking about some truck and tractor pulling and drag racing. That'll be the first show to sit down and talk with. So,
well, what I suggest, do what Glick did. Go get you a cheap laptop. You know, you can buy one that works. As long as the camera works and it runs. That's how we started. And
that's my plan actually this weekend coming up. I'm gonna
I don't even own a mic anymore. I just use earbuds that they cost me like $3.
Yep.
But yeah, everybody stay tuned. We're gonna go live on Men Caring for Men here in a few minutes. I'm gonna go and play the outro. And then we will add this to StreamYard later tonight. I'll probably do it tonight or tomorrow. And so we'll see everybody then. Thanks for everybody watching. Thanks for listening. And you got anything to say before we go?
Everybody have a good night. Hopefully everybody will enjoy it and get more people to tune in. And we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
We'll see you all at the races.
Later.
Bye, everybody.
Nonsensical network, different flavor every day. Movie talks, new flicks hitting the display. Microphone magic, musicians spill the praise. From reptiles to motorsports, burning rubber craze. Football clashes, touchdowns, epic plays. News spinning, catching on the latest phase. Gleaming cars, engines roaring up the pace. Street tales, urban stories we embrace. Tune in, every week diverse. Groove to the beats, let the rhythm immerse. Lyrics flowing, ciphers full of verse. Nonsensical network, feel the universe. Interviews buzzing, stars in the circuit. Worlds of tapestry, pieces we interpret. Hip-hop to rap, the flow never stagnant. Reptilian tales, nature's arrangement. Cars with muscle, engines with might. Motorsports roaring, speed in the night. Discussions heated, always a delight. Network of nonsense, but the vibe's just right. Tune in, wait for that beat. Flow so seamless, feeling so sweet. Urban grooves, rhythm from the street. Nonsensical